Hello again, friends, and welcome into another edition of Wrestling with Rusty right here on YouTube for November 13th, 2022. I didn't have my microphone plugged in there, so sorry if I had to start it over a second time. Please remember to like the videos on this channel, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends to subscribe to the channel. Uh, please, I need all the help I can get. I don't get paid for this. I do it as a labor of love, which means I do it for free. So, with that being said, here is my review of the NWA Wrestling pay-per-view Hard Times 3 from last night, November the 12th, 2022, Saturday. I forgot, hang on a second. I forgot my book. I got my notes, hang on. I got to put my headset down. Stay with me, people. I'm sorry. I am back. I admit I was unprepared. Please forgive me. Long story short, I'll start this. Match number one was Natalia Markova against Max the Impaler in a casket match. You know, these casket matches, I'm not sure they ever worked. The best one I ever seen was Ivan Koloff versus Dusty Rhodes from the 70s. I wasn't there, but I saw a tape of it. Ivan Koloff, one of my best friends, and a great wrestler. But other than that, these casket matches never work. But anyway, Max the Impaler defeats Markova. Match number two, Davey Richards and Colby Carino for the MLW Major League Wrestling Open Weight Championship. Not sure why they have an MLW match on an NWA event, but I guess some money changed hands somewhere. Davey Richards defeats Colby Carino to retain the MLW Open Weight Championship. Now, that was a good match. Back to the casket match where Max the Impaler won. It was an okay match, but I could have done without it. Davey Richards and Colby Carino was a real good match for the MLW Openweight Championship. The third match was question mark 2 versus question mark, the fake question mark, which of course we know to be Rodney Mack of the NWA and formerly of WWE. Question mark 2 wins, so Rodney Mack must unmask. However, he unmasked with the help of Aaron Stevens, the former WWE Damian Sandow. And now Aaron Stevens is a really good guy, but he's playing a heel in this part. Rodney Mack unmasked, but you don't see that it's Rodney Mack, even though everybody in the building knows it's Rodney Mack. They cover his face with a towel. So, in storyline purposes, you still don't know who the fake question mark really is, even though we know it's Rodney Mack. But anyway, question mark 2 wins. I'm not sure who question mark 2 is. I Googled it and it for some bizarre reason came up to be Bill DeMott, but I don't think it's really Bill DeMott. I think that was a search engine error. But in any case, match number 4 was one of the great matches on the card. Carrie Morton, the son of Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express. Carrie Morton defeats Homicide, and Carrie Morton becomes the new NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion. The NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship is modeled after the old NWA World Title from the 60s, so it's really a cool belt. But anyway, the next match, match number 5, is a P break match. Thrill Billy Silas Mason versus Odinson. Odinson was supposed to take on Nick Aldis, but as you know, Nick Aldis resigned from the NWA this week over heat with Billy Corrigan, the owner of the NWA. In this match, they gave the win to Thrillbilly Silas. Paulo Del Mar, thank God, was there. In storyline purposes, they said Paulo Del Mar was the faggot guy. They didn't call him a faggot, but I'm calling him a faggot because any man that'll cross dress has to be a faggot, even if it is for storyline purposes. And I don't know if it's for real or storyline purposes. But anyway, Paulo Del Mar was not there. Thrillbilly Silas gets the win over Odinson. Match number 6, the Spectaculars versus the Fixers for the NWA US Tag Team titles. And the Fixers win, and a pretty decent match. Match number 7, a newcomer, Dak Draper, don't know much about him, versus Scion for the US, not US, but the National Heavyweight Championship that looks like the old 70s US title. But it's called the National Heavyweight title. National Heavyweight Champion Scion keeps his title versus the newcomer Dak Draper, rather. And Scion, of course, had in his corner the legendary Austin Idol. Women's Tag Team title match, Pretty Empowered versus Missa Kate and Maddie. Nothing much to write about here. Pretty Empowered keeps the women's tag team title, but it looks like they're building to a storyline between Missa Kate and Maddie splitting up, as there was some heat after the match. So that might have been P-break match number 2. In the next match, match number 9, because the women's tag match was 8. This is match number 9. EC3, yes, the same Ethan Carter III from the TNA Impact days, real name Michael Hunter, defeats Tom Latimer in a pretty good match, except in the middle of the match, EC3 gets a wireless microphone, and cuts a promo on Tom Latimer and Tom Latimer's real-life wife, Camille. The match ends in a DQ when Latimer gets pissed off and hits the referee, so EC3 technically gets the win because EC3 got in the head of Tom Latimer and made Tom Latimer get disqualified for hitting the ref. Pretty good match, though. Match number 10. La Rebellion defends their World Tag Team title against Hawks RE, Luke and PJ Hawks, in their hometown of the Louisiana, New Orleans area. And La Rebellion retains the NWA World Tag Team title as they defeat Hawks RE, Luke, and PJ Hawks. And La Rebellion are still the World Tag Team champions of the NWA. Match number 11 was a 3-way match. Chelsea Green, Kylan King versus Camille in a 3-way ladies match for the NWA Ladies World title. And Camille keeps her streak going with a win over Kylan King and Chelsea Green. Yes, the same Chelsea Green from Impact years ago, who is now married to Matt Cardona. And the final match, match number 12, and this kind of leaked out on the internet earlier this week when they said they had redone part of the NWA belt to accommodate Tyrus. As suspected, Tyrus defeats Matt Cardona and Trevor Murdoch. Trevor Murdoch was the champion coming in to tonight's show, but Tyrus defeats Matt Cardona and Trevor to become in a 3-way men's match to become the new NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Tyrus, yes, the same Tyrus that was Brodus Clay in the WWE years ago. I suspect this has something to do with it. In his real life, Tyrus is a political commentator for Fox News. So instead of having the NWA World TV title on Fox News now, they'll have the NWA World Heavyweight Championship for a while on Fox News. Because Tyrus always takes the belt when he does his Fox News position there on TV. They also announced that January 31st of next year would be the first live Tuesday edition of NWA Power coming from Knoxville, Tennessee. So we'll have to check that out. And before the last match that I just told you about between Tyrus, Matt Cardona, and Trevor Murdoch, in which Tyrus won the NWA World title, they had an interview with Bobby Fulton. Yes, the same Bobby Fulton of the Fantastics and the Jim Crockett Promotions era and the World Class Wrestling era of the 1970s and 80s. Bobby Fulton had been suffering from throat cancer and some other ailments recently. I did a video on the channel, not about the throat cancer, but about the other ailments. And Bobby Fulton appears to be back to recovery, and thank the fans for being in attendance tonight, and thank the NWA for inviting Bobby Fulton to the NWA card. All in all, it was a pretty good show. I give it a 8 out of 10. I think the negatives might have been the Thrillbilly Silas Mason and Odinson match, and also probably a second weak point might have been the women's tag team title match, maybe. But a solid 8 out of 10, and it wasn't embarrassing like the product has been embarrassing, like Nick Aldis called it recently, earlier this week. So they put on a good show. I would encourage you, for those of you that don't have, subscribe to Fight.tv and get the NWA All Access Pass for $50 a year, where you get all the NWA pay-per-views, first run NWA Power, and NWA USA. For those of you that don't want to do that, you can get NWA Power and NWA USA for free on YouTube each week, but you can't get the pay-per-views. If you want the pay-per-views, you've got to subscribe to NWA All Access. Like I said again, my friends, please tell your friends to subscribe to the channel and watch the other videos on this channel in the past, and tell your friends to subscribe to the channel. Most of it's about wrestling, but not all of it's about wrestling. Deborah Baker, Deborah Welch. Now I keep saying Deborah Baker. Deborah Welch, I love you if you're out there. Please remember my friend, the late Don Kernodle, who passed away in 2021 from suicide. And if you or someone you know is thinking about committing suicide or has had battles with depression, past or present, please call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. They're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They never close. And if you don't get help from there, get help from somewhere else. That's going to do it for me. If you just came in on the live stream here and didn't hear the whole report, you can go back and hear it in a few minutes when it posts to my channel, recorded wise. It's live now, but it'll be recorded in a few minutes. Go back and watch the whole review. It was an 8 out of 10. Pretty good show from the NWA. And we'll have to see what the NWA does going forward with life without Nick Aldis. And hopefully they can rebuild the NWA to return to prominence as it was in the 70s and 80s. Until we meet again, my friends, this is Rusty. I'm out of here. And until we meet again, happy wrestling, everybody.